Hi, Dave Urick here. Here we're going to be talking about major scale fingerings. Very briefly, there's two different types of fingerings I use for major scale fingerings and for modes. I call them these, they're not actually technically called anything, but I call them vertical shapes which go primarily vertically on guitar. Sometimes there's 3 notes per string, and sometimes there's 2. Anyway, and then another type of fingering, a second type of fingering, which is always playing with 3 notes on a string. So there's the 3 note per string fingerings. I'm going to give you both of them because they're both related, and we're going to do this with all of the 7 different major scale fingerings, which we're going to dig into in great detail later as modes or modes of the major scale. So, modes of the major scale are basically major scales. In this video, we're going to be calling them all basically major scales. I will refer to them as their mode names as well, but fundamentally they're major scales. So this is fingering number 1, otherwise also known as major. I'm going to point the root out as well as we go. So this is starting on the 8th fret, a C major scale. I'm going to play it slow, then we're going to give you some fret numbers. So, slowly, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. Ascending, that was it. We're not going to go descending right now. Ascending, this is a vertical shape, and he is starting on C, 8, 10, 12. Next string, 8, 10, 12. Then you're going to shift up, 9, 10, 12. Then 9, 10, 12. Now, the B string, second string, has only 2 notes, 10, 12, which is 2 and 4. And then shifting back on the first string, 8, 10, 12. Now, if you know there's 3 notes, 3 notes, 3 notes, 2 notes, 3 notes. That's the C major scale. The root in this scale is the lowest note, C. Technically, that's a C, and that's a C, so those are also all root notes. C, C, C. Now, the 3 note per string fingering, the bottom 4 strings are identical. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But on the string that has 2 notes, you're going to shift to your first finger, 1, 3, 4, and 1, 3, 4. You're going to go up. So you go up to the 10th position. On guitar, position is determined by the location or fret number that your first finger is at. So when we start at 8th position, shift to 9th position, then you're going to go to 10th position. So 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. Or 8, 10, 12, 8, 10, 12, 9, 10, 12, 9, 10, 12, 10, 12, 13, 10, 12, 13, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, good. Now, the way I practice these, when I go to the vertical shapes, I don't repeat the top note or the bottom note, and I continuously loop them. Tapping my foot. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You notice there is 17 pitches, including the bottom note or the top note if you want to play that, which means as you ascend and descend, it's a perfect sort of 4/4 bar of 16th notes. And like this, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E. Or 8th notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. When I do these 3 note per string fingerings, I do repeat the top and bottom note because it keeps it in triplet feel. And I kind of 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet. These are all 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. fingering number 1, otherwise known as major. The root is C, C, C. Okay, C. Now, fingering number 2. Here's what we're going to do. You can call it fingering number 2, or we can also call it Dorian. And interestingly, it's also still a C major scale. How to call it and what's its name going, if it's modal name or whatever, we're going to introduce that and talk about that in greater detail in another video. But here is vertical shape number 2, or the Dorian mode, starting D on the bottom, D Dorian. So this is 10, 12, 13. I use third finger and fourth finger. Then the next 10, 12, 14, 6, 10, 12, 14. Then 2 notes on this string, on the G string, 10 and 12. Then we go to the B string, 10, 12, 13, 10, 12, 13. Or 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, stretch for it, 1, 3, stretch for it, 1, 3, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. Or D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. So let's just, so I'm trying to tap my foot here and be loud enough. Now you notice sometimes some people prefer second finger or third finger or fourth finger. Rather, third or second finger to play the 12th fret. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. When I play the vertical shape, I guess I kind of prefer the third finger. When I go to the 3 note per string shapes, which I'm going to do now, I probably prefer the second finger. Ultimately, both work quite well. I've seen really great guitar players prefer one way and another great guitar player prefers the other way, but as long as it makes sense, and both of those ways make sense. Here we go. This is the 3 note per string fingering. 1, 3, 4. I go 1, 2, 1 stretch 2 and 4. 1 stretch 2 and 4. 1 stretch 2 and 4. Then I go to 12th position. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4. So 1, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4. Ship. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4. Alright, so, you don't have to go that fast with them, I just did it. So, this is the root for the Dorian mode, or the second degree of the major scale, D Dorian. However, the root for the major scale, often called the parent scale, is a C note. So this is a C major scale, starting in the lowest note being D. Number 2, the Dorian mode, the major scale, or shape box fingering number 2. Alright, shape number 3. This we're going to call the Phrygian mode. I didn't name these, they were named many, many centuries before I was born, so just sharing the names with you. This would be a Phrygian mode, or the 3rd degree of the major scale. He starts in the key of C major, the parent major scale of C, or on E. E Phrygian. So we're going to start here with first the vertical shape. 1, 2, 4. 1, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. No stretching, nothing at all. 1, 3. Then 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4. Again. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Alright? That fingering has 12, 13, 15, 12, 14, 15, 12, 14, 15, 12, 14, 12, 13, 15, 12, 13, 15. Right? Now, the 3 note per string fingering for the Phrygian mode, or the 3rd degree of the major scale. 1, 2, 4. 1, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. Now, 1, stretch 2, 4. Now you're going to shift up to 13th position. 1, stretch 2, 4. 1, stretch 2, 4. Fret numbers. 12, 13, 15, 12, 14, 15, 12, 14, 15, 12, 14, 16, 13, 15, 17, 13, 15, 17. Phrygian, that's the root for the mode, or the modal name called Phrygian. So this note is E, the last name Phrygian, E, Phrygian. The parent major scale, or sometimes the major scale, or just referred to as parent major scale, is that fingering, or that note rather, wherever that finger is, and whatever you play this box or shape at, that's the major scale that it was derived from. So this note is C, hence C major scale. E Phrygian, C major scale. C. Good. The fourth, number 4, the fourth mode of the major scale, or I should say fingering number 4 for major scales, is called Lydian, or you can just call it the major scale, starting on number 4, or the fourth box of the major scale. So let's not get too technical. There's a bunch of videos available here at the site for how to really delve into what is modes and why. But this video is just about the fingering. So first finger, I'm going to start at the lowest fret now. You could start at the 13th fret and continue on until you run out of spots, but I'm going to start down at the first fret on the F note. If it's too hard to kind of do that stretch, what we're going to do here, just start at the 13th fret, and you might, add 12 or subtract 12 for any of these fingerings. It will be the same. So, F note, G note, and A note. So it's 1, 3, and 5. Now your first finger is going to shift to second position. 2, 3, 5. The next, 2, 3, 5. Next, 2, 4, 5. Now, this fingering is 3, 5, and then 1, 3, 5. So, and once again, I'm going to give you another fret mark, notes rather. F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Okay? 1, 2, 1, stretch 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. Okay? Now, the 3-note per string fingering. It's kind of a doozy here. You might not like it, but this is the way it is. He says 1, stretch 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3. Now you're going to shift to the third fret, 3, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 4. Now there's some ambiguity here, 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4. I get asked all the time in my lessons, can I play it like this or this or that? Which is the best? How do you do it, Dave? And so the answer here is, if there's more than one way to do it, you might want to explore doing each way for a while. And if one of those fingerings emerges as an easier way to go, well, there you go. But the answer, which way do I finger this, is it depends upon where I'm going and where I'm going to and where I'm coming from. So in this particular case, as I ascend, 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, I like that. When I down, or if I might do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4. But either way, I've actually had some, in that little quagmire of an area, I've spent more time with that than probably all the other areas combined. So, whether that's helpful and encouraging, or whether it feels strange, that's just the way it is. So, I didn't make the guitar, I didn't make the rules, I didn't make the major scale, just passing the information along. F, G, A, C, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. That's Lydian, otherwise known as, there's the root for F. F Lydian. C major. F Lydian is C major. Sometimes people, and I don't want to get off topic here too much, but sometimes people ask me questions like this. They go, that's the C major scale. Is that the Lydian of C major? Or is that the Lydian in the key of C? Or was it? Here's the deal. 2 names. F Lydian or C major. If you were to move that to another key, right, and continue on, it's G Lydian or D major. That's G, G Lydian, D major. Alright? You don't go and say, is that the Lydian of the major? Or no. It's G Lydian is D major, or F Lydian is C major. If you do it in any other position, A flat Lydian, E flat major, A Lydian, E major, okay? And that's true of all of the fingerings. So when I did D Dorian, right, it was Dorian, which is C major. If I were to move A Dorian, it's G major. A flat Dorian is G flat major. G Dorian is F major, etc. The reason to learn both roots is so that you can understand how to use them. I will agree with you that if this language is new to you, it will be confusing at first. But there's only three things we can do about that. What you can do about it is you can repeat it, and then of course you can repeat it. And if you were to forget the big three or any of the big three, just keep doing it. All right, so here we go. The next one, number 5, box number 5, or the note, a major scale starting in the 5th degree of the major scale, we can also call mixolydian. All right, here we go. Starting at the 3rd fret, G note. All right, so I'm going to give you the notes slowly. G, A, B, or 1 stretch 2 and 4. 1 stretch 2 and 4. Same thing. 1 stretch 2 and 4. Now this guy comes up a little bit. 1 to 4th position, 2 and 4. Now we're going to take a break here, and I'm going to talk about this in a minute. But I go 2, 3, and then the next guys come first string, 1 stretch 2, 4. Once again, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, shift B, C, D, and then a very physically weak, weird thing, E, F, and then G, A, and B. Now, if you notice, you might see that you've seen some of these fingers if you're, maybe see another teacher or another in a book somewhere along the line. Somebody fingered them differently. And we're going to talk about how that happens in great detail once again in some other video. But in this particular case, here's the B, 4th fret. Here's a C note. This note would be D. I'm choosing here to do it on the 3rd string, but I could have done it also on the 1st string. So this fingering could be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Like this. Or D, 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 D. So you can do those D notes in other places. Once again, vertical shape, G mixolydian. G is the root for the mode, or the modal name, and C, or that's the root for the major scale, or parent major scale. Or alternate finger. Just relocated the D note. The 3 note per string fingering for this, a lot of fun. 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, shift, 2, 4, shift again into 5th position. 1, 2, 4, and 1, 3, 4. Right? G mixolydian. The roots are the same location. G and C. All right, so 2 more to go here. A is the root for the minor scale, sometimes called natural minor, pure minor, relative minor. It's also called the Aeolian mode. Aeolian mode. So here we go. C major scale starting on A, or the 6th degree of the major scale. A, B, C. 1, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. Now this one I'm going to give you with the vertical 1, 3, and stretch 4. And 1, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. 1, 3, stretch. 1, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. That's an A minor scale. I just call it minor, and you can call it any of the names, pure minor, relative minor, Aeolian mode. There's some logic, by the way, behind each name, but that's not what this video is about. Those will be in some other video. So, A is the root for the minor or the modal name. C is the root for the major scale. C, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, stretch. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. All right, the 3 note per string fingering gives you 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. Now I change this 1, stretch 2, 4, 1, stretch 2 and 4. Moving up to the 2nd string note, F, G, A is a 1, stretch 2 and 4, and then B, C, D. These are the roots, same exact thing. Root, A minor, C, C major. All right, so that's the minor scale. The natural minor scale, after that, the last one, let's go to this, mode number 7. Okay, mode number 7, or the major scale starting in the 7th degree of the scale, we're going to call B Locrian. Okay, the utilization or application of Locrian is infrequent and not impossible, and I don't want to even use the word rare, but it's not as frequent as the other modes. It's probably the least used of the modes. It is used, but that's to distinguish it from the fingering. The fingering, you can use any of these fingerings. And in a strange backwards sort of way, all of the fingerings can be used for major. All of those fingerings can be used for Dorian or Phrygian or Lydian, okay? And we'll talk about that in detail in a moment. So, this is B. Starting on B, 7th fret, 7, 8, so I'm going to do it again, 7, 8, 10. Next, 7, 8, 10. Next, 7, 9, 10. 7, 9, 10. Now 2 notes on the B string, 8, 10, and then back to the first string, 3 notes, 7, 8, 10. B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. The roots for this is a vertical shape. I very much like this shape, by the way, whether you call it Dorian, Phrygian, or whatever. It does. At this point, we're calling it by the lowest note, B, which is B Locrian. Here's the root for Locrian. Second, there's the root finger in the C note. That is the root for the major scale. Okay? So, B Locrian or C major. If you wish to get to the shifting or the 3 note per string fingering, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. Now you're going to shift to 10th, 8th position. You go 8, 10, 12 on the second string. 1 stretch 2, 4, 1 stretch 2 and 4. All right, so those are the fingerings that we're going to begin with. B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F. G, A, B, C, D, E. Now there's a couple ways I'd like to talk about doing all of these. There probably isn't a right and wrong way to do this, with the assumption that you're actually playing the right fingering, right? So that'd be the wrong way. But if you're doing these fingerings, there's a multitude of very creative and positive ways in which you can do that. I like to actually put a recording on and play along with backing tracks, and I've actually made one that you're going to be able to download here, and we'll give you links and things for that. But I like to put a backing track on for a short period of time, or I also like to do with a metronome, just playing up and down. When I'm playing these modes, the modes which, and the major scales, which are, I call vertical shapes, I play 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So there's a set of 17 notes where if you don't repeat the bottom or top note, you can loop them and do a continuous cycle of 16th notes, or like in 4/4 time with a metronome. You can play, the major scale up and down. However, if I'm going to switch to triplets or sextuplets, which is, that's 6, there's 3, right? 6 is 2 3s, right? So what I do is I then repeat the bottom note or the top note whenever I change direction. So, 1, 2, 3. Right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, B, P. The bottom, 1, right? sometimes with the 3-note per string fingerings, an easy way to learn them, or a very functional way to learn them, is to repeat each string either twice or 4 times. The reason I say that is it can get you out of some little picking issues here, which we'll talk again, not great detail in this video, but out of some picking snafus, all right? By playing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, you end up playing the note, in this case, 6 notes on one string, so it means every new string will be with a downstroke. And we'll get into that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And descending. Or now you're probably going, did he just like shift into like a whole other gear? And I kind of did that. I wanted to do that purposefully, okay? Not to impress you, but to impress upon you. Those were just major scales, okay? Something strange happens when you kind of use speed. And your technique is right. It's really exciting, okay? How many times have you been sitting around with like your grandma or grandpa or somebody old in your family or somewhere in, older person, and a young kid will start running around the room, like running really, really fast, right? And I say, stop moving so, slow down, you're making me nervous, right? Speed has that effect, okay? And so it's also one of the measures that we have for our technique. And by measuring that, we'll get into this as well and how to develop that in a much faster way. But it should be a goal, not the only goal, and certainly not the primary goal, but it should be on the list to have all of this stuff at a pretty good pace. So that wraps up the major scales and the modes in entirety, in a kind of whole way. There will be a multitude of videos on these moving forward, where we focus in on each of those in much greater detail. So, but I wanted this video to have a whole overview of all of it. So that's it. My name is Dave Urick. This is Dave's Guitar Site. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us or leave a message in our little YouTube channel comments. So thanks a bunch.